It was just Britannia to begin with, and then Sam met Mike Humphries in Fort William. He was working on another traditional boat in Fort William during the winter.
He'd been sailing on our competitor's boat called Lawn Leader. She was an 80-foot Brixham trawler, but the guy who owned her, we met, Don Hind, and we became friends.
I went along as a labourer, knowing something about wood and using wood and having an interest in wood, but not actually having any boat building skills or shipwriting skills. I went along. I turned up at what has subsequently become Don's yard, and because Don had asked Sam to do the replanking on Lawn Leader that winter. So that's where I met Sam.
And the first time I saw him, he was being brought up to me by Don, who was giving me a labourer to work with me with what I was doing. And up came this wonderful, shiny little man in a well-washed pair of blue overalls, shiny brown boots, shiny brown hair, big flowing moustache. He looked a bit like Asterix, and who held out a very firm hand. And I liked him from the moment I took his hand, and we've been friends ever since.
We were halfway through doing this job, and I made noises about what a beautiful boat she was, which she was, and Sam said, "If you think this is a lovely boat, come and see what my next job." So he took me up to the Caledonian Canal. His next job was to move on to a Bristol Channel pilot cutter, which at that time was owned by someone that Sam knew on Skye, and she had been put on the Caledonia at the bottom end of the Caledonian Canal, just a mile or so from where we were working on Lawn Leader. So he took me up to see Alpha, and she's just absolutely a really beautiful Bristol Channel pilot cutter, and then at that time both Sam and Don and Vicky and Gilly were thinking of they got more business than they could deal with. They needed an extra ship, an extra sailing ship. So I thought, well, I can do that. So I'll buy Alpha, and I just borrow some money from Clydesdale Bank, buy Alpha, and we can set up. We can then jointly operate another sailing ship. So we have a fleet of classic ships in the Hebrides. There'd be Lawn Leader, Britannia, and Alpha. So that's what we decided to do. And that in fact is what we did.
But it was a disastrous route because somebody had pulled Alpha off her legs just as he was buying her, and she got smashed. So I had to rebuild her. That took another year of my life, and that was very difficult because I was exhausted by the end of that, merely because I wanted to do the best for Mike that I could and push the work hard and work long hours, and I was worried about it because I knew it was costing him a lot of money and stuff. Anyway, we got it done, and she went sailing, and she sailed with us for the first season. We took her to the Canaries for a winter, and then he took her on and worked in opposition to us, as it were, but with us, just like Lawn Leader. So we all worked together, and we'd frequently meet up in the small hours and have a party, and best left really as a party in the small hours, I think.
We just got such wonderful memories of it. There is something magical about the Hebrides. There's something magical about old sailing ships, and there's something spiritual about it, in fairness. And for us as owners, skippers, sailors, we've got so many fantastic memories. I mean, we could bore people to death about our experiences, and I mean, some of them are comical and some of them are it's just extraordinary.